Hey there, it's me, Katie Beth again, and today I wanted to tell you about some tips and tricks I've learned while mask making during this quarantine period. Also at the end, there'll be a little giveaway. If you don't want to know the tips and tricks and just want to skip to the end to learn the details about the giveaway, go ahead. So, anyone else that's listening, for the tips and tricks, first of all, I want to tell you that I've been making 3 different types of masks. The first one is one of those one size fits most types of masks. It's a little bit of a different one. It goes on, I'll just show you how it goes on real quick. So you put it over your neck first, and this one's kind of cool because the sizing can fit pretty much everyone, except for kids. It's more of an adult thing, but it can fit the face. So it fit me, or it fits my boyfriend, or pretty much any adults. It just depends on how much you squeeze the sides. So you put it on, form the nose piece, and then you can tie it around to the back. And one of the mistakes I made is I made these strands really long. I just thought they were going to need to be really long, and they don't. So if you make these, you can shorten the strands. So see, you can put it tighter if you want. And it covers pretty much your entire area. And depending on what size you want, like this gets tighter, or it could be looser if you have a bigger face. Really glad I shaved my armpits. So that's this one. So this one, the disadvantage of this one is it does take longer to put on, as you just saw. So if you're just getting out of your car and want to run into the store a little longer, or a little quicker, it takes a while. I do like to make the inside of my masks white, so that when I'm wearing them, I know if they're dirty, because my makeup gets all over it. So this one, back to this mask, in the center is where you would put the filter, if you wanted to put a filter in there. This one also is kind of nice because the FDA recommends 3 layers of fabric, and this one has the front layer, and then these 2 sides are double layered. So you are getting 3 layers without the filter even in it. So that's also kind of nice. That's where the filter would go. The next type of mask I have is the fitted mask. It's the one that, this one's going to be really easy if you're getting out of your car and just want to run into Target for some toilet paper or whatnot. You just put it on. It's fitted. It's already to the right size. One tip I do have is for the bands. It's a little pricier, but since elastic was in a great short anyways when I got these, it was really convenient to just get these elastic bands off of Amazon, and they're size adjustable. So if someone has tiny ears, or me, I have a larger face, you can pull them back, and it just adjusts to whatever size you need them to. See how it could adjust? I don't know why I'm trying this on again, to show you. So, and it does make this little thing in the back, but not a huge deal when your hair is covering it. So again, the advantage of this one is that it's super quick to put on. Generally, you get them in the size for your face. This is what I call a medium, what I normally make for adult women or adolescents with giant heads. The filter area, if you want to put a filter in, is right in here. It's only 2 layers. You could make it with a 3rd layer, but because of the bend in it, it'd be a little more difficult. But I have 2 layers here, and then you can put a fold and put a filter in here if you want to. And the reason why everyone makes the filters removable and not in there is generally because of what they're made of. So this is a piece of filter cut out from a air conditioning unit and unfolded and ironed down. And this is the type you would just squeeze in here. So the filter would fit in here, which is great, super cool. It's a great idea, but we don't really sew them in because this is what it looks like after one wash, because I had washed it inside one of my masks. So this is one wash, and if you keep washing it, it's just going to keep disintegrating. Excuse me. So that's why filters are removable. However, on the next type of mask, because that's a 2-layer, I kind of added an extra layer to the filter. Let's see, this is it. One moment. So the problem I thought I had with making 3-layer one size fits most masks in the other style, turns out it's not really even a problem. So this is the other one size fits most mask. It's the one with the folds in it that kind of folds out like this and then goes back to its size, place, shape, goes back to its shape. Again, I have the adjustable ear straps. That's how it fits. So this is actually the 3 layers, and when making it, to me, it just seemed really thick, like super thick. But right now, it seems kind of fine. I don't have the pipe cleaner in it right now. Oh, back to the layers. So this is 3 layers. So since 3 layers are recommended, it's probably best to use 3 layers. But for the most part, I had been using 2 layers when making these masks just because they're a lot lighter and easier to breathe through. I guess I just proved that it's not a lot lighter since I couldn't tell the difference. But there is a difference when you're actually looking at them. So the lighter one will be easier to breathe through, but will not filter as well. This type, I wasn't sure how to go about putting a filter in since it has these pleats. It's weird to stick a filter into them. I suppose you still could and just put the pleats separately and put them in between, but they pleat together, which is why it'd be weird to stick an optional filter in. Anyone else that's making these masks, where are you putting the optional filter in? Maybe at the top and slipping it in, or just on the side and putting it between the layers and not pleating them together? Like pleating them separately? I'd like to know how anyone else is doing that. Or if you have any ideas on how to do it, that'd be great too. Let me know, write it in the comments so I can find that out. So the next tip I have actually is when someone actually wants the nose closure, nose wire. And in a lot of these, I didn't put it in because they're just reversible, quick throw-on masks. But if someone did later want that wire in, but you've already sewn it, you can do an after sewing. And I've done it 2 different ways. One is I use elastic and just kind of sew the pieces of elastic on there so that you can come in later with the pipe cleaner or whatever other wire you want to use. I like to use the pipe cleaners because it's like softer. If it is rubbing against your face, it works because it's got the wire. It's removable. I have put them through the wash and it does kind of mess with the shape a little bit. So with the elastic, it's pretty easy to stick back through, which is why I like the elastic, because even if you double over the pipe cleaner, it's still like it stretches, so it's got that space to put it in. Whereas initially I was using a ribbon, and the ribbon, you have to really be good about what size you made. This size channel is working pretty well to put this through, and you kind of have to keep fitting it through each individual one. And the more little ribbon or elastic channels you make, the longer it'll take to feed the pipe cleaner back through. Which is another reason why in my early masks, see there's a ton of different channels to go through, and the ribbon is harder to get through since it doesn't stretch. But you can do it, it's just taking a while. My later masks, let's see, have fewer channels to go through. And I've kind of been going with the elastic because it is easier to get the pipe cleaner through just because it stretches. So the fewer channels you have, the easier it'll be to get the wire through. It'll take less time. It's not as fully secured to the rest of the mask, but really you only need that wire on the nose part to make the shape around the nose. Now the next tip I have for the elastic or ribbon you're using if you do think of it before its mask is already sewn, you can put the ribbon in between. Let me just show you an image. So you put the ribbon or elastic in between the two layers you're going to sew with the wrong sides facing out. So you'll put the ribbon or elastic on the inside, which is the right side, so that once you sew it and flip it over, it will be on the right side. Also, for the masks with the earpieces, like the one size fits most with the folds, I also found it easier to put the ear elastic in first, sewing it before doing the rest, just so it was already in there, and it looks a little nicer when it's turned over and finished. You just have to think beforehand how it's going to need to go. So one of the tips I have learned with elastic and ribbon is that you don't want the ends to fray and run, so you can actually burn them to keep them from fraying. And let me just show you a moment. So you want to make sure you're doing this not under a fire extinguisher so you don't set it off. It does make a little bit of a smell if you leave it too long, but you just go ahead and light your lighter, put it through just long enough so that it's not really focusing well on this. Maybe if I bring it further back. So just long enough that it melts the frays together so that it won't fray. The bad side of that double-edged sword is that it is slightly rougher now, so that it could scratch your face, but it's honestly not that scratchy against your face. From personal use, I can say that. And back to talking about filter placement, as we were talking about on the folded masks, where the filter on the side is weird to put in because of the folds. The fitted masks, you do have an option of where you want to put the filter pocket. The initial ones that I got this pattern from had the filter pocket in the center. I ended up not liking this because it got kind of itchy around my face and nose. Also, I felt like after washing, if I didn't iron it, it would be kind of like this. And then I felt like my mouth was just in there breathing in only through one layer of fabric. Or if I had a filter in there, at least it'd be two with a filter. But for the most part, I'm just grabbing a mask and going without worrying about putting a filter in, which I know is bad, but I do it. So it's got kind of weird and irritating to have the filter pocket in the center. So I started just making the filter pockets on the side. Did anyone else find this issue when they were making their masks? Let me know below so I feel like I'm not alone. So I do like the side pockets a little better for the filters if you're going to be using them. And talking about patterns, you can find a mask you like and just trace around it, giving like a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch, however much you want to use for your seam around it, and then you basically have a pattern for your mask. For these types, just repeat it 4 times. For these types, just repeat it however many layers of fabric you want it to be. Which these ones I got the pattern from just one of these normal throwaway masks. I learned through this, which I should have known before, I just didn't think about it. Plastic is not something you can iron. And being that these are plastic brings me to another point that I wanted to talk about. These suck for when you're working out or out in the sweaty summer. California out here, it's humid and hot and disgusting. And if you're working out or sweating at all, these they're plastic. So it's plastic against your face. It just keeps the sweat and grossness in there. And I do a lot of, when I do work out lately, it has been outdoor working out. And I'm wearing my mask because sometimes I come across a lot of people. People are grouped far more than we should be right now. Anyhow, my face was breaking out just because it was this plastic against my face, because I would forget to bring a mask and I keep these in my car or my bike for emergencies, and the plastic was just crazy gross on my face. And so cotton is a lot nicer. It wicks away the sweat from your face, not entirely, but at least you can like pat it and soak up your sweat. which is way nicer than the plastic. And for me, it's a little more breathable. My boyfriend does like those more, but he has a beard, so maybe it's that extra layer padding, so it's not just plastic against his face. It's like plastic through the filter of his beard. So the last topic I have to talk about is adding embellishments. A lot of the times with my master projects, embellishments get added because I've made a mistake to cover it. Instead of taking everything apart, it's easier to just go back and add embellishments. On this one in particular, I had sewn the fabric together the wrong way. So this had the seam that should have been flipped on the inside. So since I didn't want to just completely take it apart, I added some ribbon on the top to cover up the seam, and then I just felt like it needed some lace. Also, another fun thing is if the fabric you're using isn't embellished enough or doesn't quite have the print you want on it, I've started just cricketing my own designs on things. So I felt like this needed more, so I added the design that I'm using for this Oktoberfest dress back here that I'm making. And more on that later. I'm going to do another video on Oktoberfest dresses and all of the weird designs I'm making. So that's how I've been using embellishments for things. But I do have to warn that the more you embellish something or the more you add to it, even like the more things you cricket on it, the less you're going to want to wash it. And if you're using things like lace or buttons or things that come out, the care for it's going to be a lot harder, because you can't generally just throw all those things just in the wash, which brings me to another point, which is the care for your masks. For the most part, most of these you can just throw in the washer. If they lose their shape a little, you can just hot iron them, just hot iron the creases back in there. These kind of have them sewn in. At most they'll be kind of wrinkly like this, but you can just iron back over them. But you can't really do that if you have a bunch of buttons sticking off and three-dimensional lace. Also, the more you embellish and the different kind of fancier fabrics you use, the harder it's going to be to breathe through your masks. I did make sure to put cotton on the inside of this, but the outside is this ridged satin. And I don't know if you've ever put it to your face before, but satin is harder to breathe through than cotton. So keep that in mind, what fabrics you're using and how you feel like you're going to be able to breathe through them. Cotton is honestly the easiest to breathe through out of all of the fabrics that I've tried using. Also, however many layers you're using is going to impact the ease at which you can breathe through. Well, thanks for watching, everyone, and now to the contest. As I said, haven't done a contest on this channel for a while, so I thought it was time. I am going to be giving away this here chicken mask. Got some nose bits there, and it'll have I'll send in a pipe cleaner too, so it has the nose bendableness. So this mask is what you could win, as well as, depending on who the winner is, I'm going to do it for whoever the winner is, but I'm going to fashion a mask fitting whatever personality traits I think that winner might appreciate. And the way I'm going to do this is through Instagram. So log on to your Instagram and check out my page. It's KatieBethDeath, just kind of like the YouTube channel. And I'm going to make a picture with this mask on it. Talking about the contest. And what you're going to have to do to win is on Instagram, on that image with this mask on there talking about the contest, it's going to ask a question. And that question is going to be, what color is the dress that has been behind me during this entire episode? Da-da! It's pink. Say the dress is pink. You can say pink and black or pink, but pink is the answer that I want. Write that in the comments section under this mask on Instagram. And from those names, I'm going to old school this contest up, write down each individual name, put the names in a hat, draw a name out, and that will be my winner. I will announce it on Instagram on August 16th. Sorry, I had to look. So from today, August 8th to August 15th is the entry period. So sometime during then, preferably like this video also. It's not a requirement, but I'd love a like. And head over to Instagram, go on to KatieBethDeath, or at KatieBethDeath, however that translates. Check for this. Check for the picture of this. I will ask the question on there to enter the contest. What color was the dress behind me? As you know, write it down there. And then, oh yes, after the 16th is when the winner will be selected. I will make another post on Instagram saying who won, and I will also contact that person directly through direct messaging, and they will have a week to reply back to me and claim their prize, and if not, then another winner will be selected. So it's a fun little Instagram contest. I haven't done any Instagram contests yet, so I'm kind of excited about it. I think that's about it for today. Thanks for watching my tips and tricks on mask making, and have a great day, everyone.